really measuring the strength of a lot of these teams in their, their willingness to pick up, the Sombra, the Doomfist, as you pointed out, Matt. We've even seen a little bit of Hammond sprinkled in the mix there. The teams that have tried to run GOAT compositions into this, we saw it even yesterday with the Contenders Finals between XL2 and Fusion University. If you fail to adapt, you will fall.
Well, I think, when we did the pre-shows, we were talking about how strong Canada's front tank line would be with XQC and Note, which they are very strong. I think their strongest thing this weekend, though, has probably been Sherp or Sombra play. I think really strong on Sombra.
He got to do whatever he wanted yesterday.
I mean, a lot of the matches yesterday, 1-2 death, where he's just able to control a game in this role, not putting up a ton of final blows, not even a ton of damage, but just a disruption and just, he's able to make these calls for the team that helps, XQC and Note with a lot of the decisions they can do. They catch Onigod alone there, they get a hack. As soon as that comes through, it's XQC and Sherpwar takes out the Tracer.
And now following that, obviously, your main scalpel to try and dig out the Scrissi targets on the side of Norway sort of missing here. XQC does fall, like I said. Tough world out there for tanks. It is a school of hard knocks, but he's brought back to life and agility's got a lot of space to work with as Canada moves to the points.
But even if he doesn't come back to life with the res there, you take that trade. You got a D.Va, D-Mech, and you got the Tracer early on. That's two big sources of damage or follow-up for the Pharah. Without Tracer or D.Va, not a lot of players that can get in and follow up that damage that Pharah's putting down.
IPN pretty brave, obviously bringing the Zenyatta into this particular matchup. Shortfall will be looking to harass, but he's taken down by Track early on in the fight. That's IPN down now, the 1-for-1 trade, but this is looking much better for Norway. Track lands himself a nice double barrage and a finish off on Crimson. And Norway move in and take residence on the point. Agilities is just going to be able to escape.
Yeah, they didn't give up too much percentage over towards Canada. Usually you get pretty decent amount of percentage if you catch that point first. So they're able to flip it back in their favor rather quickly. You will see they're going to have Sound Barrier plus Valkyrie here. With so little Mercy play, it'll be interesting how they decide to use this Valkyrie, whether it's aggressive or defensively.
There's a D-Mech there. Tricky wasn't intending to trade as much damage as he did, and he actually gets taken down after the fact. A huge piece of the puzzle now missing for Norway, and Decod struts over to the point just to try and maintain control here with their Primal Rage, but Canada goes for the Sound Barrier here, and Decod's hacked. He can't even jump back onto the point until that's expired, and over the top, Shawfall's just getting that damage in. EMP available for Canada now. It's going to be the Transcendence used preemptively, and IPN won't have that stripped away from him, but Shawfall bites his time, and there it is. Hack on at least 4 players of the Norwegian squad, and they'll be forced away. The barrage from Agilities this time, and he finds himself both Track and Ico.
I will say this though, Mitch, they did force Canada to use all of their ultimates during that fight. So you did get them to use everything they had. They had all 6 ultimates during that fight. They ended up using every single one of them. Thought we were going to see some changes from Norway, but it looked like Onigod went over to Widowmaker. Probably try and get a spawn shot onto Agilities in the sky, maybe get that early pick and then push on through, but goes right back over to Tracer.
IPN again, there's Zenyatta, not overly mobile. Quite susceptible to a lot of the tools that Canada are bringing just to try and make life hard for less mobile or more vulnerable targets in general. Decod spent some time around the lighthouse, and Shawfall's taken down early, so credit to Norway, they've done a great job, and what teams failed to do yesterday, Matt, was to deal with that Sombra early in the fight and not give Shawfall carte blanche. Ico actually takes down Crimzo mid-air there with the Caduceus Blaster, and now Agilities is lacking his mercy. Track turns his attention to more pressing issues, and that is Norway recapturing the point. Should be 71% to 50.
You'll have Sherpwar get on, get tested for a little bit, now backs up. So they do get an extra 3% out of that. Do you have the Sound Barrier available here for Canada? So you think with the effects of the Sound Barrier, you're going to end up getting a Primal Rage off this as well. As Bonnie actually takes out Onigod, as he was actually trying to make it over to a mini health pack and not able to make it there in time.
Onigod had a pulse bomb, but won't have a chance to use it on this particular spot. Agility's trying to definitely dodge the rockets, but he can't get away. No response though, gets airborne. Headshot onto what's Track and Decod. There it is, Primal Rage. It's a tough life for Banny, but he manages to wall ride to safety. Decod's going to wait out the hack and then return to the point, but much of that Primal Rage duration was lost for him. Now he returns to his normal form. No, maybe intended for that one to go out the window, but he drops it right on the corner. Self-destruct doesn't find any kills for Canada thus far, but Agilities now has freedom. IPN is beleaguered, beset on all sides. And there's Zenyatta out of the picture for Norway. Looks like it's a matter of time for Canada now to get very close to that 99%, and they're staggering this fight out, Matt. That's the crucial point.
Yeah, Track gets actually hacked in the air, so not able to use any of his abilities to get back. It's going to be a AKO hack. So he's not able to get back towards the point as well using Valkyrie. This is definitely looking like it's going over towards Canada.
Only got Tracer, thus far unsuccessful. Shunted off the point. Does get a D-Mech at least on towards Note, but that's a punch in the back of the head on Agilities. Sends him packing. IPN is able to deal with XQC, that Discord, or finding some value, but So he's sitting on the point now, and he lacks his Mercy support. Surefour gets in there. XQC brought back to life for good measure, but that will do the job for Canada. Round 1.
Yeah, and IPN actually gets hacked while he has that Transcendence up. Not able to get enough healing from Maiko to stay alive there long enough.
I mean, maybe at that point it prolongs the fight, but missing so much of Norway's damage sources, it would have been a struggle. Notable stuff in this particular round, Matt. Agility's was 6 final blows, 31% of his team's damage on Fire, which that track was quite close as well on his own Fire. He had 9 final blows, 28%. So both Fires being headliners.
So you see the knockoff there on the Deacon playing Wrecking Ball.
Must have had his grappling hook off.
I'm interested of why they stayed on Zenyatta for so long. I think Zenyatta, he can obviously stay out of harm's way from a decent amount of the EMPs. You can play far away from the team. But then the issue is he's an easy target to just go on your own as Surefour, get a hack off and just take him out.
In all fairness, they've almost justified that particular pick by showing an ability to control Surefour, you know, or at least not let him run around and do what he wants at the start of the fight. So actually see him getting picked off by the Farah of track there. So, you know, the splash damage of Farah into those choke points can reveal the Sombra if the timing is right. Now Norway coming with a McCree. That single DPS, we only got Brigitte now for track.
Well, that tells you they really want to punish Surefour when he comes on these flanks, right? You have the flashbang of Onigod, track with the stun on the Brigitte. Just whether they're able to do it or not.
Surefour's not flanking. Nice work by Deacon. Throws down the barrier. It wasn't exactly under, you know, threat of a lot of damage, but he does cancel the hack. He's able to get away and still have to use all his faculties. He does eventually fall to agility, so when Canada are starting to take control of this open space, they're forcing Norway to stay inside. Not great for McCree, who really wants to be out and have those clear sight lines. They're forced out of position. Surefour, though, maybe extends a little bit too deeply, falls to track.
Yeah, and when they can force McCree into these close quarter areas, that's where you're going to see a lot of damage come down with the Farah. And it's going to be difficult for Onigod to be able to track Surefour as well, right? You know, there's just 2 different sight lines you have to cover. You have to look up in the sky, and then you have to look behind you. That'll be a solo rocket barrage there on the Deacon, but definitely worth as that Tricky comes through, gets demeched as well.
Deacon shakes his head. Understandable. Have a nice day. I guess I picked the wrong kind of fight. Agility's more than happy to use that ultimate to find a pick. It is a big body, that Winston, so it's an ultimate well used. And our Canada have a little bit of breathing room, Matt. Crucially as well, Transcendence available for Crimzo on that Zenyatta in this fight. And reasonable now, you can look at the composition of Norway. Is Zen, you're probably not feeling overly threatened by them.
I was actually just going to say that. As you know, we talked about, you know, IPN, definitely a lot of threat to him with the composition that Canada's put together. Crimzo can sit back and just be a turret. Nobody that can really put a lot of pressure on him because you have Deacon and Tricky who always have to constantly deal with the Sombra in the backline.
Only got there just trying to reactively use a Deadeye in case it was dropped on top of, but Canada thought twice about that one. Surefour was revealed for a moment, but it's a big EMP. Tricky and Only got crucially both getting hacked up, so that Diva, the impact for Norway will be minimal. And you got to be feeling pretty good as Crimzo in general, Matt. It's like, well, my team has a Sombra, their team doesn't, and they can't dive me. I get fairly safe Transcendences, and that's something to watch in this next fight. Norway need IPN to be able to get their Transcendence off, and it might require him to use it early in like a suboptimal scenario just to get the healing for some of the duration.
Well, you do have Rally as well from track, so you'll have the armor of the Brigitte, the healing from the Zen, and Deacon with Primal Rage should be able to stay alive for a very long time. A lot of large HP targets going to come online here for Norway.
Barrage there, coming under from Agility's in the back corner of a tricky battle with a double self-destruct, and there it is, the Deadeye claims 2 more. 2 ultimates, 4 kills. Norway happy with that one. They did lose only got a decomp, but they still had the numbers to control a point. And at the death, they bring it back.
So they do use the rally towards the end, so everybody but Onigod will get armor. So he's coming out of the spawn. Deacon, obviously, as Winston does have armor just in general. As Surefour gets on the point, they do get a hack here. Tricky will be forced to back up. We can see how exactly the self-destruct happened.
Agility's trying to solo Winston, this time punished for it. Nothing to do there. So back to the point, Canada like to retake as soon as possible. Notice Surefour's EMP getting ever closer to being available. IPN's Transcendence still sitting in his back pocket. Some of that residual rally armor remaining for Norway. And IPN is about to have that stripped away from him himself. Zenyatta, very important. Knocked away. Canada have control of the open area. That's the tricky part. After the EMP, nicely played. The IPN comes in with a Transcendence. Of course, line of sight does render you, immune to getting hit by that EMP if you're inside. Crimzo now comes out with a response EMP, and it's a second support ultimate drawn out of Norway. Sound barrier now only got. It's not going to be enough to keep him alive. He was deep in enemy territory, and it's dangerous when Agility's just patrolling the skies. Only got an IPN, probably the 2 most important heroes right now for Norway, are down. It's looking grim, Matt.
Yeah, as Deacon switches over to Wrecking Ball, gets some of that reactive armor on the point, but Almost gets hacked up here by Surefour. Not going to be able to make it back in time. That'll be a map 1 win here for Canada. Now, Norway did play them tough. I know they were able to make some things happen. I think just having that Zenyatta, on the team comp there, against the Winston Diva, and you also have Sombra and the agility spamming down rockets. Now, IPN towards the end there, he was waiting for that EMP to come out to then use the Transcendence, but they had already taken so much damage before that. Even himself, he got down to like 60 HP a few times, just holding on to that Transcendence, waiting for that EMP.
There are ways, of course, to avoid getting EMP, Matt, as you sort of mentioned, and in the final moments there on IPN sort of staying inside the building. The problem was, I think, for Norway is that they had to do this quite a lot. They clumped up together against Farah and Sombra, obviously, which leaves you very susceptible to not only, of course, the splash damage from Farah, but getting a big EMP. So the Transcendence was later from IPN. He avoided getting EMP, but Crimzo came in with his own Trance. Norway had at least 2 support ultimates in that fight, but after the fact, that loss only got so fast. I mean, yes, you get a lot of that shield from Lucio when he uses Sound Barrier, but if you're standing in the middle of the enemy team as McCree, trying to dead-eye them at point-blank range, it's not going to go well.
No, some things I think Norway did good during that first map. I think they did a nice job of punishing XQC a few times when he would go in. The issue is Canada would already probably have a pick at that time, then the damage that he would just put down onto the overall team of Norway, by the time you got him dead, a few extra ticks of damage, and then your Diva was getting demacked, and then you had to back up a few times, and then it just allows, Bonnier Crimzo, who was playing the Mercy for Canada in that situation, just get a res off, and then you're right back at full strength. So, they were able to take him down, I believe, 6 times during that first map, but still not enough.
This is going to be fun. Heading over to Blizzard World for our second map, our hybrid map, of course. Matt, what do you want to see from Norway in terms of, just maybe bringing back this series? Compositionally, do you want to see them maybe try and adopt some of the similar approaches we're seeing from Canada?
Outside of Team USA and Canada, we haven't seen a ton of Sombra or Doomfist play. I know both Team USA and Canada have both shown that. When the triple tank, triple support compositions come out, you see some Doomfists. I'd like to see some of these other teams here start to work those heroes in. Seems like we're still seeing a lot of Tracer Genji, which is still pretty good. You can still run dive in this meta, especially Lucio with the speed boost, right? And, get in there. We do see Norway play a decent amount of Widowmaker with Oni God, but I think I'd really love to see, some Sombra Doomfist, Sombra Genji, some kind of Sombra play. I feel like she's way too good right now to just kind of be put to the side as like, oh, we don't really need her. I think you definitely need Sombra in a lot of these comps.
And I feel like on a control map like Ilios, which we just saw, it may be a little bit harder for Sombra to to range as far and wide as she often can. On a map like this, you can just sit back behind an attacking team and force them to answer you.
I mean, a map like this on offense, let's say one of your tanks, whether it be like a Winston Diva, or even if you want to run Wrecking Ball here, loses all movement ability. They just get leapt on in the chokes and they're just dead. There's nothing you can do about it. So, also surprised not to see as much. Well, we did see it towards the end on Ilios, but some Brigitte coming out from Norway. Maybe we see her a little bit more. So it looks like
get to McCree to try and, I assume, answer the Sombra. They're playing around it to a great degree. It's clear to see.
See what they decide to do here in Norway on offense. Is Decod just checking the spawn here, probably for Sombra.
Yeah, it's a great way of trying to spy check that. Obviously back to the Winston now. So Track will be on the Sombra himself here. Again, he can do a lot of scouting, which is obviously very crucial. Norway won't venture too far from spawn until they know what category.
What's your feelings on Moira, by the way? We were talking a little bit this morning about it on the way in, but in this type of composition, what are your feelings on having the Moira here?
For Norway?
Yeah.
It's a bit tricky. I mean, you're trying to take high ground, but the problem is that, she can't join your divers, right? It's very, very difficult for Moira to follow up Winston and Diva when they do range fire. Yes, you can send them a Biotic Orb, but you need to be quite close to make use of that high-capacity healing, Matt. And, if you're sat on the ground, you can be quite susceptible to, Sombra even to a degree. If you get your Fade forced out early, you have a bad time.
Yeah, for a lot of these divers, I think Lucio and Moira, just not enough healing for your tracers and whatnot. As you do see a kill come through, Tricky does kill Crimzo, but you already have 3 in favor of Canada. I just don't think IPN right now is stuck on the point, right? Can't really go all the way back there as Moira. I mean, you could use your Fade to get there, but then you don't have your main cooldown to get out once you get dove upon. So
one shot.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could probably play Ana in this type of situation, right? Play from afar. When the defense turns to go and get your flankers, you land a big biotic grenade or whatnot. But I think Moira is in a weird spot right now.
Nope. Drops back onto the point. Only got, again, a very early casualty here. He's definitely persistent in trying to make this Tracer pick work. Unfortunately, falling at the start of the fight like this heralds an immediate disengagement from Norway. Still a ways off that EMP for Track. He's not been overly successful in getting in the back, and that's also a matter of Norway creating enough threat in the front line to keep him safe.
And here's a really good switch from Canada as well. They're going to change all their support. So Bonnie now playing Ana, Crimzo playing Zen, and Agilities playing Brigitte. This takes away everything of value you would get from the Lucio or the Moira. Tons of AoE healing. They have to be close to everybody, hit everybody with a big anti-grenade. They can't do anything.
So Track, at the start of the fight, he's forced to use his translocator, right? So returning to the fray for him now is going to take some time. Tricky gets desuited here, and Decon already fell early on, so all the initiation capacity for Norway has been removed from this situation. They really can't do much now except sit on the low ground, and Track there just gets a face full of monkey fist, and it's all over for him.
Yeah, they use their coalescence during that fight. Maybe you see them switch off with the Moira now as
how do you have some? Oh my god, this is so hard to watch.
Ramping up the sensitivity, getting into the back lane. They're still going to stay on this Moira here, so see how they decide to use it.
Crucially, that would be the...
They're going to try and hide Crimzo here as well, so he doesn't get hit by this.
Track has to go in from the low ground here, man, as well. He does, oh, hello. He does not want to get picked down here. You see those shots that have been taken by the Ana could easily hit him. They get that self-destruct, at least on Agilities to start.
Yeah, Crimzo, though, hiding, will use the Transcendence, come back, able to heal everybody up. Decon will use Primal Rage, but see, he gets hacked up right away. Now the Sleep Dart comes through from Bonnie.
I mean, that looked like Crimzo was in deep trouble there, but nice save from Bunny. So that sound barrier is going to decay eventually, and Decon's just going coast to coast in this particular fight to try and keep his team safe. D-suit on towards no, but Agilities returns to the fight. The Doomfist is here as well. He gets the uppercut on IPN and sends him packing. Aiko is thinking, I'd like to not be here right now.
And it's interesting, they actually use the nano boost there on the Surf and it keeps them alive long enough and gives them the damage reduction to be able to get the EMP and use it there. And then he uses it, hits 4, and then you have Agilities just come flying over the top there as Doomfist. So some changes coming in here for Norway. You're going to have triple tank, triple support here, but it may be a little bit too late. No real chance of building up Azaria grab this late in the game.
Goes it out, Matt. Bionic Grenade not really getting much there, so there is an opening here for Norway to come forward. See Bunny is going to have to wait for his cooldown on that particular ability. Punch on the wall's tricky, although I don't know what Agilities was looking for. Someone behind the Diva. It looks like he didn't really want to use his cooldowns on that Diva. Regardless, he's going to have to now. He gets lasered down by Onigod. The Transcendence was a little bit too late to the fight, but Crimzo's still giving the healing to the rest of his team. Self-destruct in the backline. Crimzo thought he was going to get away from that one, but he was just too far around the corner, and he's taken down by Tricky. And now No trying to take to the skies to get a bit of space, but Canada completely split. It's the divide and conquer strategy for Norway, and it's worked out. They'll get the first point.
Yeah, Crimzo actually tries to go back using the Transcendence feed to get around this corner. We're seeing Tricky in front of us right now. He just doesn't make it. He ends up dropping to that self-destruct. So
I thought he was, I couldn't tell if he was peeking or if he thought he was safe.
I think he thought he had a line of sighted around the corner. Maybe like just kind of like, sometimes you can like partially like, get around the corner and
just
still block the damage, but doesn't do that as Surf4 has built up an EMP here. So you have EMP with a nano, potentially a nano on XQC, then a Primal Rage after to just keep him alive as long as possible. Put down maximum damage through this EMP. Here's going to be the rally coming out from Norway. Track popping that Brigitte ult.
Making his way in now as well. Now it's a little bit hard. He doesn't want to use EMP in the doorway because it won't affect everyone on either side of it. Fight has begun though regardless. Decon's still looking quite healthy. There's that Earth Shatter he can bring to bear if required. Most of Canada are sort of disengaged or a little bit split right now. XQC right in the middle of enemy lines, takes to the high ground to try and back up here, but I don't think Norway are going to give Canada the room to get away. There's a big hack. Track actually got bionated there as well, so he couldn't do very much at all. Earth Shatter there from Decon finds himself 2 targets. Agilities charges in though. Nice response, keeps XQC alive, and now the Doomfist can start to wreak havoc.
So many ultimates used here by Norway. They need to, they're not going to be able to make it back. I thought potentially you try and fight that again, use like a Coalescence and then the Sound Barrier and come back with the main tank down, but they used their Graviton Surge during that fight, Mitch. Got nothing with it.
Agility's timing was very good. Decon obviously got a moderate, the 2-man shatter. Both tanks were sort of laid out on Canada for the time being, but Agility's disrupting that fight later on was made it very, very hard for Norway. You notice he holds onto the rocket punch to wait for the barrier to expire, but it doesn't quite work out. He and Decon both knocked to the ground and they trade their lives out. Self-destruct in, but Track kept his shield up on high. Unfortunately, it's not going to save him now as he's being swarmed on. And Banny's got a lot of room here. Nano boost available. Bionade dropped in. IPN now no healing from him. Even self-healing from his right click's not possible. XQC has to accept that. They use a self-destruct and a Graviton, and they only got a Winston on the side of Norway. Definitely not the value they're looking for.
No, I mean, that's the second Graviton Surge we've seen throw down from Onigod. Only 1 kill to show for it. It was just on XQC when the fight was pretty much over. may get a rally here for Norway, but that's about it. You're looking at a nano boost EMP combination here with the Primal Rage yet again for Canada.
Well, they need the shields from Rally, probably the morale as well. If I'm honest, Shawful drops in big EMP and Track is just completely smashed up against the rock face. 4 deaths already for Norway. They're going to try and tentatively push the car, but it really is just Tricky left. He will be desuited, moved away. Overtime will be done, and Canada put up a staunch defense on Blizzard Worlds.
And it's actually a really hard part of the map, I think, at least in my opinion, to run that triple tank, triple support, because Bonnie just sat up on the bridge and was just healing everybody from afar.
Can't
and
access Anna, right?
Is 0 access. And then when you try and access it, you have to go all the way up together around that left-hand side if you're playing from the offense and go up that alleyway. And it's easy for Surefour to hit like a 6-man EMP.
It's still
there,
a choke, right? If you try and play that high ground, in essence. And they tried to do that at the end of the round. Just saw that EMP and Track just get completely bopped.
Just think about how much damage comes down right away when Surefour EMPs. The EMP comes down, then the biotic grenade, so you can't get any healing in that short area, and then you have the Winston and Doomfist just flying at you. You can't survive, and then you can never get any pressure onto Bonnie on the high ground playing that Ana.
One thing that always impresses me about Note is his ability to be such a a presence in these team fights and yet just stay alive so much. Obviously D.Va, you do get demeched, it doesn't count as a death, so you do have a chance to get that one back. But Note has at least deaths on Canada, but 1 death. Well, actually, no, Shawful has none, to be honest. Okay, reasonable. But no, obviously on that D.Va managing to stay out of harm's way, at least by the looks of things, while still being right in the thick of things.
It's really fun to watch, like, Note and Space, the off-tank for Team USA play. I feel like both really similar in the fact that, like, Space I feel like makes like these like crazy plays, right? Where you watch it and you're like, oh my god, like he's incredible. Like you can clearly tell it. Note is just so consistent and he's just always like rock solid. Like that sometimes you kind of forget like how good he is or may not even realize like how good he is.
Because he doesn't even tell you.
He's always in perfect position. Like he's always in a good spot. Such a really talented player as well.
I think like obviously now that as we know, Shawful has 0 deaths. That indicates to me that Norway weren't able to control him nearly as much as they did on Ilios, for example. Definitely not falling early in these fights. Shawful has had a lot of room, and he's got 25% of his team's damage on Sombra, which is huge.
To be fair to Norway, nobody has really contained him on Sombra throughout the weekend thus far. Every game we've casted of Canada, I've been looking at the stats. Surefour's got like 1 death, 2 death for a lot of these maps.
I just watch his ult percent do. Just tick up.
Much better.
We'll keep an eye on this man now. We'll see how he approaches these fights. Obviously, Track had a similar role in the attack before.
Well, let's see how Track plays this, because Canada's going to play the Zenyatta here at the beginning, but it's going to be Zen and Ana. So we'll see if... Oh, there. We'll spot him out as Surefour just runs right into him.
Hello, quite the rendezvous there between 2 Sombras. Track decides to pull the plug on that one. And that could be a bit of a problem here. No translocator available for it. Tricky deseated already. The dive is on Canada. Wasting no time and getting onto that high ground. Tricky, just a mini D.Va left for him right now. And Aiko, he wants that health pack. But the boop on agilities will prevent him from even being able to get that one. He will be picked up in time. Now it's up to Only God in Track. Very mobile, very sprightly, these 2 heroes, but not durable. Gonna be tough for them to face the music. And in fact, I think they're even gonna try and pull out. They don't get there in time. No, now they get staggered for the next stage. Scant seconds between Norway actually managing to contest. But no, it doesn't work, and now they just feed themselves to the beast.
And the first kill of that fight is huge. IPN falls at the hands of Agilities. And I think that's we see that you can run Sombra with whether it's like Doomfist, right, on a lot of maps, Sombra Tracer, and then Sombra Genji, and I think that's why you see...
Yes. That's not like you.
Yeah.
That's very uncharacteristic.
I think that's why you see the Sombra Genji combination on first point in Blizzard World here from Canada is because Agilities lands like some of those headshots on IPN and then just dashes straight through. No chance to even heal himself or react. Genji can get to the high ground so fast. Here's going to be a nano blade that comes through for Canada trying to put this one away.
IPN just got cut through, 1 fell swoop and he was done. Self-destruct here for Tricky. Might actually get killed before he can remech here at this stage. XQC was trying to boop him around a little bit. But that self-destruct doesn't yield too much. In all fairness, the agilities blade didn't either, but it doesn't really take that much at this point. Aiko trying to get back to the payload. He gets there just in time. Tricky drops on top. Track's also going to have to join in. Cowabunga, they drop in on the top. Unfortunately for Norway, it's just drips and drabs, and it's not enough. Canada, clearly not to be denied.
Saw a different play of Sombra from Surefour there on offense. When they were running the Sombra Tracer, instead of going in and trying to be the initiator, he was playing pretty far back, trying to help the supports. You saw the battle there at at the end against Onigod. It's very difficult. Tracer Sombra 1v1. If the Sombra's behind you, you think you're going to go in for an easy kill in the Discord. You get hacked, they throw a Discord on you, the Sombra kills you right away. Makes you think a little bit more about trying to dive into that, and then you have Agilities playing the Genji with XQC being aggressive in the front. It's not much Norway can do there.
Bear in mind, Sombra's sort of bullet spread from her primary fire is been reduced quite significantly over time. So
it's tighter, so you can do more damage.
You can essentially outrange a Tracer, and the Tracer is hacked, then it's not looking good for their... You saw a couple moments there, Norway had lost their front line so early in the fight where, you know, Onigod and Track were trying to retake the point as Sombra and Tracer. It's a tough life out there for Norway, but they've still got 2 more maps to prove themselves. Let's head down to the stage and hear from our man, Shawful.
Thank you so much, fellas. That's right. Give it up for Shore4 and Team Canada. Now 10 straight games in a row. You are 1 map away from making it 3 series and, of course, retaining that #1 spot in the group. First off, how's it feel to play Sombra? Because throughout the Overwatch League, we saw you popping off on Widow. We always saw you, clutching up the headshots. You were the 1v1 champion of Widow back at the All-Star game. We haven't seen a whole lot of Widow. We're seeing a whole lot of Sombra. What's it like playing this hero instead?
Well, I like Sombra because you get to be really annoying and people can't focus you that much.
You like being annoying? You're a troll a little bit sometimes?
I mean, why do you think I like playing Widow? You know, when you're shooting people from like halfway across the map, they get angry that they can't do anything about it. But the main reason I like playing Sombra is because for a long time, DPS players haven't been able to do anything against, tanks because they jump on you and there's 4 seconds matrix. And now tanks get to feel how we felt because I don't let them do something for like 6 seconds. It's great.
Who's your favorite tank to hack?
Diva, of course.
And how many EMPs? I know you've been keeping track. You're a very humble guy, but deep in the back of your mind, I know you've been keeping track. How many 6-man EMPs have you hit so far in this World Cup?
Probably like 20.
Pretty solid number. Shore4, are you guys closing this one out with another perfect 4-0?
Probably.
You guys here in the Blizzard Arena believe that? Make some noise. It's Shore4 and Team Canada 1 map away from making it a perfect 3-0. We'll see if they can do it after the break.